Hey there everybody, I'm the Mysterious JG. Welcome back to Let's Play Mass Effect. Last time, the topic inadvertently turned to blue genitals, but now we're going to go chat with Tali, Garrus, Wrex, and Ash. And hopefully we can put things on the right foot with Ash, because we were mean to her last time, but I just got done telling Liara that I don't really want to do it with the blue chick. Because yes, Shepard is not Captain Kirk. Sorry to disappoint you folks. Shepard's Anaconda don't want none unless the other person involved belongs to his species. Femshep may not be that careful. Garrus is pretty adorable. Although in this game I don't know why they decided that Garrus was not an acceptable romantic interest in this game, but then changed their minds later. Same deal with Tali. You can't date Tali in this game. In the second game, Tali suddenly is like one of the easiest people to get into her, hermetically sealed pants.
Shepard, I'm glad you're here.
You seem happy. It bothers me. Goodbye. I'm glad you're here. Not for long.
Good to see you smiling again, so to speak.
Oh, I am smiling.
I'm sleeping much better.
I put on the smiling light to indicate my smilingness.
I still think a lot about my pilgrimage, though. I know Theron's our top priority.
Oh, yours? I really don't care.
With all the worlds we go to, I was hoping to find something to bring back to the flotilla.
I don't know. I got some dust bunnies.
We've still got a long way to go. You'll find something to take back.
Yes, but it cannot just be some derelict ship my people can use for salvage. It has to be more than that. There's a lot expected of me.
I'm a plot character after all. I don't have time for this.
What's so special about you?
that also seemed like a dick thing to say.
He's the senior member of the Admiralty Board. He's one of only 5 people who can overrule the decisions of the Conclave.
The Conclave.
My father is responsible for the lives of 17 million people. Our entire race is in his hands.
He's the commander of this ship! Oh, you're like a princess? Dude, now I'm like, into alien chicks again.
So are you some kind of heir to the Quarian throne or something?
No, it doesn't work that way. My father's position isn't hereditary. I'll probably never serve on the Admiralty Board myself.
Okay, that's great.
Officially, I'm just the same as any other citizen.
That's nice to hear that.
It doesn't work that way in practice.
But anyway, I wanted to...
People have always treated me differently because of who my father is.
Okay, well, it's really interesting to hear.
You must get all kinds of special privileges.
Yeah.
I probably had it easier than most growing up.
Oh, that was nice for you.
It's not all good.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
My father have enemies.
Really?
They're
Then
not above using me to get to him.
what are you, like frickin' Vicky Vale and he's Batman?
It must be tough on you.
My people place a high value on family and ancestry.
We're Jewish.
There's an unspoken expectation that I'll live up to my father's example.
If he were a rich man.
Everyone's waiting for me to do something great on my pilgrimage. Something that will forever change our lives for the better.
This vague notion that they're supposed to be,
If I don't, it's
like
I failed, and that reflects badly
East
on both
Indians.
me and my father.
But I mean, anyway, the Quarians are definitely presented as being this kind of like... Maybe I'm trying too hard to draw parallels between the races of this game and the real world. It's so easy to do in Star Trek. I mean, you had the Ferengis were kind of this nasty anti-Jewish stereotype in Next Generation, and they gradually got expanded on in Deep Space Nine. But the Klingons used to be the Russians, the Romulans were the Chinese, and the Vulcans were kind of like the Japanese. Because the Vulcans and the Romulans are very similar, but one of them was nice and one of them was bad. I guess actually, no, it's the other way. The Romulans were like leftover World War II paranoia about the Japanese, and the Vulcans were the Chinese, because even though they were the communists, they were also the ones that were like ancient Chinese secret and stuff. Anyway, totally off topic here, but what I'm getting at is it's not quite that easy in my mind to do the same thing with Mass Effect, but there is this real old world immigrants from another land feel with the migrant fleet. They stick to themselves, everyone thinks they're dirty, we don't trust them, but maybe they're not so bad.
The work you're doing here is more important than anything any Quarian has ever done before.
Quarians are worthless.
Yes, I know. But you have to understand Quarian culture.
We don't care about that.
We're a very insular society. The events beyond the flotilla don't much matter to the average citizen. Our greatest dream is that one day we'll return to our homeworld and drive out the Geth. But even if we stop Saren, That's not going to happen.
I'm not sure if
There's
that'll happen
still
before
millions
Mass
of
Effect
death behind
5.
the veil. Until they're gone, our exile will continue.
I don't have time for this.
What would you need to bring back to make everyone happy?
Something that would help us better understand the Geth. They've changed significantly since the exile. They've continued to evolve.
Seems like laser
We've done our
blasts still
best
kill
to
them.
study them, but it's not easy. They're very reclusive.
Like us.
Until recently, they never went beyond the borders of the Veil. And all the Geth we run into now are under Saren's control.
Ah.
We'd need to find Geth operating on their own, independently.
Do we have reason to think
But I
that he's
don't
not
want this to get
controlling
in the way
all of
our
them?
mission, Shepard. First, we stop Saren. Then I'll worry about my own problems.
Sounds like a plan.
What was your father like?
It wasn't
He had a
easy
mask
growing up as the
on.
daughter of one of the
Never
Admiralty.
really saw his face.
Even before he joined the board, he was a prominent figure. People looked to him for leadership. He had to set an example, and he expected the same of his daughter. Plus, he was pretty strict, a military man through and through.
Kind of a douchebag,
He
actually.
never allowed me to settle for anything less than excellence.
Used to
As a
really be
kid,
hard
I
to
sometimes
date.
felt like he was pushing me too hard. But now I'm old enough to appreciate what he taught me. The world doesn't owe us anything.
The world is a
We have to
vampire.
earn Mother was around, but she always seemed to kind of blend into the background.
She had a
Almost
suit
like
that
she was
matched the
overshadowed by
wallpaper.
My father. He tends to do that to people. She passed on about 5 years ago. Some airborne virus that swept through the fleet. Happens sometimes when the filters start to break down. I think my father took it pretty hard. After she was gone, he became even more focused on his work. I think that was his way of dealing with the grief.
Were you close to your dad? Who, even when I ask you about your mom, you start talking about your dad?
Sounds like a tough upbringing. You don't resent your father at all?
Oh, I hate him.
Like I said, it wasn't easy. My father's not the kind of person you bond with, and he wasn't around all that much. Too busy. People counted on him, and he took his duties seriously. Even when he was around, he always seemed a bit distant, like his mind was always somewhere else.
Perhaps he
Come
was
to think of
occupying
it,
the body
I
of
can't
another
ever
creature using his
remember seeing
mind,
him
controlling
smile.
it.
Not once.
Well, how could you see him
It's
smile? You
like
got the
he was
damn
always
suits
weighed
on.
down by all that
Although maybe on
responsibility.
their, on their own ships, do they wear the
I know
suits?
He cares about me, but he never
Do the
really showed
babies
it,
get
not
born
in the
into little
usual way.
suits? What the hell?
I guess the best thing I can say about my father is that I respect him.
I respect him, Booker Man.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
Like, not talking.
I should go.
See you later.
You get experience just for talking to Tali. They got to give you some kind of reward for all that. But more importantly, I checked. I was pretty sure I couldn't remember the missions for everybody, but in fact, it's only Tali, Garrus, and Wrex who have those missions. Neither of your human squad mates get special missions that you can do, and for whatever reason, Liara doesn't get a mission. As you probably gleaned from comments I've made throughout, for male Shepard, Ashley and Liara are the two potential love interests. For Fem Shep, Kaiden and Liara are the two potential love interests. Because Liara doesn't, I mean, you know, she belongs to a species that's all female. They don't really seem to have our way of figuring out who is and isn't attractive. Garrus and Tali open up in later games, so they are apparently both hetero, but don't care. They, you know, you better be the right gender, but they don't care about what species you are. I mean, to me, I don't know. It's weird. I guess it's just me. I mean, hell, if we really found aliens out there, would their genders even come close to lining up with ours? Anyway, yeah, but Garrus and Tali become available in the next game. For whatever reason, they're not in this game. I don't know what's supposed to change. And sadly, there's no point at which you get to date Wrex, no matter what.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Oh, the adventures I had.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
I'll bet you have.
Yeah, I
Anything
thought that
in
was going to end the
particular that stands
conversation.
I remember the Solarian geneticist I was sent
Oh,
to
here we go. He's
investigate.
actually now talking about his
That
mission.
case was a bit disturbing.
So I'm not sure what difference left or right makes here. I thought it'd be amusing to just shut down the conversation immediately, but no, that didn't actually.
What happened? Why were you investigating them?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
But during the course of my investigation, I I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts. Organs, mostly.
Well, I think we are going to start talking
We
about
usually
alien
get a few
genitals.
of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
Seriously?
You've seen this before on the Citadel?
Every so often, some lab sells unwanted parts through the black market, but they're not as bad as the Psychos. I remember this one Elcor diplomat we caught in my first year on the job. He was hacking people up and selling their organs.
An
I was
Elcor.
stationed in a bit of a panic.
Hacking
But this
people
case
up.
wasn't that clear-cut. Turns out there was more going on than we first realized.
I think we might have screwed up. I now have this memory. We may have chosen the wrong dialogue. Think goodbye. You just cut it off there. Oh, really? Wow. Organs, huh? Well, later. No, but he talks about alien genitals at some point.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ
Alright,
development.
here we go.
But there was nothing. No Solarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
Krogan testicles. Yes, folks. Every video of the LP from now on will feature discussion of alien genitals.
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set.
Cute.
Somebody's making a killing out there.
Much later, I think in Mass Effect 3, you'll have someone, Krogan will at some point go, wow, that Shepard's got a full quad. I.e., you know, big balls. I think they say it even if you're femship.
What did you do about the geneticist?
Girl
I
balls.
brought in some of his employees for interrogation to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
Smart.
You mean threaten? Was that really necessary?
Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it paid off. One of my detainees
Good answer,
started
Garrus.
bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up, and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes. Walking, living test tubes.
Creepy.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good. Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the inside, hidden so nobody could see it.
Unless, like, a liver starts popping out of your eye socket or something.
I hope he got what he deserved.
Alright.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Again, I don't understand what the difference is between these two choices.
Why not? What the hell happened?
I thought you were, like, beating people up and torturing them. Why did you do that then?
Blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
So what?
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel.
Okay, what a bunch of
I
babies,
told them
huh?
those hostages were dead anyway. He just used them to make more organs. But they wouldn't listen.
And it's time for us to be a puss.
Well, it's not worth the risk. You pursue the vessel and disable it. That's the best choice.
They sent the military after him, but he got away just the same. Yes, they did. I went to Pat and told him what I thought of him and his policies. He said if I didn't like it, I could quit. Well, I almost did. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
You're wrong, you're right, tough choice.
If you don't care about the fate of those hostages, then you're no better than he is. You're just a terrorist with a badge.
You're an organ-growing weirdo.
Maybe you're right. It doesn't make it any easier, but I see your point.
Garrus does
Just
tend
wish
to
I could have
just
stopped him. That's all.
roll over for whatever the hell you say in this game.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salion?
I sent out feelers from time to time. hoping to
But
find something.
he was growing even more
Thought I'd
feelers
found it
inside of
a
his
while
own
back.
fingers.
He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
Okay, so apparently somehow we got farther ahead with Garrus than with Tali or Wrex, because he is giving us his mission, which is to go find Dr. Hart.
I'll check out the coordinates
Dr.
when I get a
Roxo.
chance.
I was hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Saleon, I want to be there when you find him.
So there we are. We actually have Garrus's mission. We do that for Garrus. Getting extra squadmate loyalty has an impact in Mass Effect 2. Doesn't really do anything in this game, but still, it's always fun to do these little missions. Rooks.
What do you want, Shepard?
Just saying hello, geez.
Why did you become a mercenary?
Lots of reasons.
And again, you're not allowed to break it off here.
Such as?
Such as, I needed to get out of our system. I needed to eat. I needed to survive.
I don't really care, Wrex.
Suit yourself.
Oh, come on.
What do you want, Shepard?
Why did you become a mercenary?
Lots of reasons.
Such as?
That was not what I expected.
Such as...
I thought it would be an
I needed
amusing
to
thing
get
where you
out of
just
our
said
system.
goodbye and
I
walked
needed
away
to
in
eat.
mid-conversation.
I needed to survive.
But no, you were a douche.
Why not stay and help your people?
I tried to help. That's why I had to leave.
Why not stay and help your people?
What happened?
I was betrayed. I was head of a small
Wrex usually
tribe.
keeps it pretty short and sweet.
We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us.
They hate order.
They followed Jared, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians.
He lost a lot of weight with
He was old,
Subway.
and so were his ideas. He wanted to continue the war. He wanted us to fight. Turians, Solarians, each other. It didn't matter who, as long as we were fighting.
What did you want?
I just wanted Jared to shut up,
Understandable.
to stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray. But he couldn't understand how much things had changed. We didn't have the numbers to go to war. Even if we did, the genophage made sure we couldn't replenish our numbers fast enough. I told them all to forget about war. We needed to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. And for a while, we were getting through. Some of the tribes started coming around.
So, you were arguing for love, not war. Make love, not war, basically. Wrex is a hippie. He is a Krogan hippie. He was like, you know, yeah, these guys wanted to go to war. I just wanted non-stop orgies.
I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that.
No, he didn't.
Power and glory.
He arranged to crush
The
with
warlord
the tribes. A meeting on neutral ground. He wanted to talk. We met at the Hollows, near the graves of our ancestors. The skulls of our dead laid bare to remind us where we come from and where we all go. It's as sacred as any Krogan place can be. Violence is forbidden.
Yeah, it still sounds like a damn setup, King.
It sounds like a trap to me. You must have suspected as much.
I did. But when your father invites you to a crush, well,
Ooh.
there are some laws that even we hold sacred.
Jared, Mr. Warmonger who doesn't like sex, was your old man? He and Tali's dad know each other and join the same, like, evil, repressive old man society?
Jared was your father?
He was, until that day.
Jared, the Gallery of Jewelry. Oh, sorry.
We talked, but we didn't get anywhere. When it was clear that I wouldn't join him, he gave the signal. His men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead. The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest.
Wrex has got some issues.
That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back.
You know, unless the sequel has a mission set there.
You must have family other than your father. Don't you miss them?
How about your mom?
You're trying to make me
Have
cry,
sisters?
Shepard. I've got some unfinished business with my family, but that's all.
What kind of business?
Pleasure.
Before I left, I made an oath to my father's father. I swore to recover my family's battle armor. It was taken from him after the uprising.
Armor?
What's so important about this armor?
It's a relic. Useless, really. But it was worn by 5 generations of my family before the war. It's rightfully mine.
And it's gotta look better than this.
Originally, it was taken by the Turian military. We weren't allowed armor or weapons after the war. Now, it's in the hands
They're like
of
Irish
Talon
Catholics
Actus,
under the Queen.
a Turian scum who collects relics from the war. He's made millions selling Krogan artifacts that were stolen from my people.
He's kind of an ass.
He's got several bases where he stores his goods. All fortified and guarded. I just don't know which base has my family's armor.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry, buddy.
Just tell me where to start looking.
I'll upload the data to your nav system. But Commander, I want to be there when you find him.
So there we go. Apparently Tali, we're a step behind. She's the only one for whom we haven't actually done this been given a specific quest to do.
So long, Wrex.
Shepard.
I don't really care, by the way. Did I mention that? It's like, oh wow, so why'd you leave your system? Oh well, things were bad. Oh yeah, species in trouble. Yeah, I don't care, Rex.
Commander?
How am I doing?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
I think she's being straight with us. Or at least, I don't think she lies very often.
Yeah, she's probably really bad at it. Too bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
Do you have a few minutes to talk one-on-one?
Sure. I was just watching some mail
Oh,
from
I said she was
before
willing to
I
talk to us
go,
now.
we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute. Later, sis.
Oops, I accidentally hit the...
Let's pretend this never happened.
I accidentally hit the, even though no sound was playing in the background clearly until you walked up and while we were talking previously, now it plays as though I interrupted you button.
Are you interested in the Lieutenant Chief?
Because
Of
I can
course
have
not,
him
sir.
killed.
Fraternization is against regulations. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
Watch it, bitch.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Nah, that's a lie.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially.
Me and any
With Dad
humans.
on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
Sisters, sisters, never were there such devoted sisters.
You have more than one sister? Sounds like a big family.
Yes, there were
Yeah,
multiple
I'm
people
the
in it.
oldest, Then Abby, then Lynn. Sarah's the youngest. She's still in high school. With 4 girls, Dad used to say he felt more outnumbered at home than on maneuvers.
Then we cut off his balls. Literally, no. Hey, did you guys hear that certain dictionaries and the Google's overlords have added the definition of literally, which is basically figuratively? You know how people say literally when they... Never mind. Forget it. You either know what I'm talking about or you don't.
What about your mother? You haven't mentioned her.
That was your
You must know what
mother,
military
that was
wives are
your
like.
father.
Strong because they have to be, able to raise kids while Dad's away on a 6-month cruise. She has a degree in planetary geology. She and Dad both wanted to see new worlds. She gave up her career to raise us, though.
What a bunch of bull.
Did your father serve with the fleet?
Yeah, took any crap posting he could get that offered space time. You know what? He worked his ass off trying to
Hey,
get
where
recognized.
was... You don't know
He
what.
never made it above
You know what?
serviceman 3rd class. He was real proud when I met Chief. First thing he did was salute.
Well, if either of you had a brain, you'd be officers. That wasn't nice, JJ. Don't say that.
Where did you grow up?
All over. Same as you, I expect. We transferred a half a dozen times before I finished grade school. You go where personnel command sends you, right? I guess that's why I'm so tight with my sisters. We'd have to leave all our friends every 2 or 3 years.
Yes, charming. You know, often the dialogue choices that are written on screen are much bitchier / more assholey than what is actually said, but no, that is pretty nasty. Yes, charming.
I was an only child, but I get the idea. At least one of my parents was always on duty.
Yeah, military families, eh? With schedules like that, it's a wonder we ever have kids anymore. Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
We're a bunch of barbarians.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Or shall
Sarah
I listen
got
to more of
herself
your
a
mail?
boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike. I didn't
Yeah,
think
Mikes
he was a
are
bad
jerks.
kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
Where were you when this was going on?
What is vidmail?
I was on active duty. Sarah's graduating high school this year. This was only a couple of years back. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobog. Same cluster, but a dozen hell my way. Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
No means no. Now I'm flashing back to the StarCraft video where I just started talking about back in college when the guys would be in these literature classes trying to impress women by making a big deal about how much they despised rape. It's like, you know, there is such a thing as rapists and bad dudes out there, but I think it should be accepted that the default position of everybody is that rape is not good. It's not something you should go around broadcasting like, I'm a good person because I disapprove of rape. Anyway, no means no.
If he really liked her, he wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah, of course. If he didn't ask at all, I'd wonder if he thought Sarah was ugly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's actually pretty realistic on Ash's
Mike
part.
thought they'd go for a romantic walk in the woods, because he figured it was past time they did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
I guess the cops around there were all big fans of rape.
Why didn't you tell the police?
She said it wouldn't solve the real problem, and she and Mike would both become household names. It was a small colony. I said it was her call to make, that we should let her do it her way. Mom was pretty pissed about that.
She didn't like the fact that I used to work at Burger King.
You said all of your sisters learned self-defense?
We're
Lynn
karate
did pistol
warriors.
practice, but didn't like it. She's kind of nervous. Sarah took Aikido. Abby decided to learn the sword. She always was a little weird. Likes big skirts and tops you have to tie her into. They do great things to her figure, though.
Little weird. She sounds interesting, that one.
So, what did you learn?
One of Dad's friends taught me Marine hand to hand.
So, what did you learn?
One of Dad's friends taught me Marine hand to hand.
So, what did you learn?
Okay. I can't help it, folks. Anytime we get into those, like, instant loop things, I just...
You traveled all the way home to walk your sister to school.
It was only a dozen light years, like a day's cruise. It's not like I was going to Earth or something. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did.
I thought the whole point was that
happy.
they didn't want to make it public.
I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look.
Then she
kept
ripped
her
off his
cool, God bless her,
nutsack.
as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her. I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk, and there's blood everywhere.
Oh, beautiful. No, I really approve of the story, actually.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be as good as you.
Almost.
Better. I'm more or less a straight-up puncher. When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell. She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was gonna end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
So, let that be a lesson, punk. Anyway, now, she gives him anal every night. So, the moral of the story is, if you're a guy... No, okay, that was a weird place to go with that, JG. However, I'd like to point out for the record that it was Ash and not me who brought up a, corset-wearing chicks with swords.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Uh-oh.
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there.
Uh-huh.
I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I've enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone.
Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub, Ash.
For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known. Cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
Bored now. What's this crap? Oh, God. No, I mean, I wasn't much better. Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub. There was an old man from Nantucket, but that's the thing. I've never been into poetry myself. I don't mind people who do. But unless you're Rumpole of the Bailey, I mean, you're just, like, overwhelmingly charming and awesome. If you start quoting poetry in people's faces, I think that's more of a look at how smart and cultured I am thing than anything else. But, yeah.
I didn't know you liked classical literature.
Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out,
screen doesn't
he
say
recorded
my.
me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Sounds dull.
Does he still like it?
Yeah, it's whatever.
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home.
He's dead! Dead!
Dad passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching, though.
Oh, God. Once again, I don't think anything that Shepard will actually say is nearly as bad as what appears to be its internal thoughts. Yeah, sure he is.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God?
I'm a Baha'i. I believe in Baha'i stuff.
Everyone has the right to believe what they want. It says so in the Alliance Charter. Only with fancier words.
That is, as Bobo pointed out, that's actually kind of obnoxious thing to say there, even if it is meant to be the Paragon
because
path.
I work in space, I can't believe in a higher power? Jeez.
I mean, fuck you. You should all be burned at the stake.
Hello, have you people looked out the window? How can you look at this galaxy and not believe in something?
My
I should
gravity
get back
and
to my
stuff.
duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
The thing about religion and space, and I don't know, it popped into my mind the other day for some reason. Not really thinking about Ash in this game either. There seems to be not. I know religious people. I know people who are into sci-fi. There's usually not a lot of crossover. Like I know a Mormon guy who I don't talk about religion with him, but yeah, usually I assume Mormons tend to be, by and large, in my experience, which is limited to individual people. Mormons are usually pretty conservative and into their religion, but this guy also really likes StarCraft. Although I don't think he takes it. I mean, I don't think he seriously wonders if there's Zerg out there, but he's totally into it. But that seems unusual. Usually the religious types are not that into sci-fi, and the sci-fi types tend to be agnostics and atheists. And I don't actually get it, because if you really do literally believe that, like, a man in the sky with a beard, or, you know, whatever your concept of God is, created the human world, I don't understand why you would think that he, she, it would be limited to doing that, and could also have created, like, you know, the Velox and the Vulcans, or whatever the hell else on the side. I'm way, way off topic. So, yeah, there you go. I'm not sure why that shouldn't trigger earlier, or what it is that caused it to trigger now, because I thought I talked to everybody immediately after that mission where we rescued Liara. But we're on. Apparently, we did not shoot ourselves in the foot with Ash too much by telling her, "Hey, stop being a fucking racist." And although I think the only more positive path you could have gotten with Ash and religion is if you told her you're religious too. It was technically a Paragon choice, even though it sounds incredibly condescending to say, You're allowed to believe whatever crap you want, Ash. That's what the charter says. I can't bust you just for believing your imaginary friend God. I mean, what I'm getting at is that what he said is technically on the Paragon path, but it does seem kind of dismissive.
Dismissed, Chief.
Though not
Sir.
as dismissive as dismissed, Chief, sir. Anyway, sir, what you should get out of that conversation is I'm not going to wear a corset for you, and I will break your face if you make a pass at me before I tell you that I'm ready. Dismissed. Oh, and I'm never going to become an officer, because that's not how I roll. Wow, folks. Whew, that was a lot of listening to other people talk I just went through. I don't know about you guys, but I'm basically beat just from all the listening to other people's crap. So this video ended up going, I was going to end up going to Pharaoh's for the next plot mission, but the video went a little long just based on all the chit-chat that we needed to do. I don't know how much more chit-chat we'll have. I'm not sure the Pharaoh's will unlock that more chit-chat, because I really feel like we got a lot of chit-chat. A lot of the chit-chat that I remember from this game we've already had. I think we're running out of chit-chat with our crew members. Although I don't remember the classic conversation with Wrex that Bobo and I always repeat to each other, featuring the immortal line, "What do you want, Shepard? What do you want from me, Shepard?"
Commander, something you need?
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check. You want top of my class in flight school? I earned that. All those commendations.
Alright, fine.
Okay.
I
Even
didn't
put the Normandy
accidentally
in my hands,
going down
I'll
a...
make them dance for you. Just don't ask
I have
me.
to go.
All right, see ya.
I wasn't expecting you to start yelling at me, especially since we've already discussed that I know about your damn disease, punk. Jesus. Anyway. So, we got some more experience from chit-chatting away, but we're not going to get enough experience to level just from talking to everybody to death. We are going to have to go forward and get some new stuff. I don't think we're going to have any like maximum charm score required dialogue choices until at least Virmire, which is the plot essential mission that pops up when you've done, I think, 2 of the 3 not plot essential ones. Or maybe you need to do all 3 of the... Let's put it this way. When you first get to the Citadel, you become a Spectre, you get your ship, you come out, you have 3 leads to follow up. It's either 2 of 3 or all 3 of those need to be wrapped before you can get to go to Virmire. And I think Virmire is the earliest in the game that you can really come across something where having a maxed out charm score is going to help. Other than possibly talking to that admiral who just wanted to rip on the Normandy, and we basically told him in very polite terms, shut the fuck up. But I'm going to go ahead and save now and call it a video. So this one went a little bit long, but when we come back... Well, I'll tell you what. When we come back, we'll be ready for Pharaoh's. So yeah, that'll be next time, folks. Hope you join me for that. I've been the Mysterious JG. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time for what may just be the first video in the last 2 or 3 videos, not to mention Alien Jenny.